Presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Fox Sports.
Tonight we greet you from Anaheim, California. A beautiful evening for baseball. 75 degrees as the Rays and the Angels meet in Game 3 of their 4-game series. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to still another edition of Late Night with the Rays. With Brian Anderson, I'm Dwayne Stats. Todd Callis along in just a few moments. Current series even at a game apiece. Rays winners last night 3-0, and a big part of that, aside from the combination shutout by the Rays pitching staff, was Yunel Escobar. He was on base 4 times, and Joe Maddon has moved him up in the Rays lineup.
Well, and Yunel Escobar has been getting it done since the beginning of the month. A lot of production that has continued here in the series against the Angels. Had a hit in Game 1 of this series, and then last night he just went off. A couple of singles, of course, hit the big home run in the 5th inning that gave the Rays the lead that they would not relinquish, was intentionally walked. And so all of that production in this new look lineup tonight for Joe Maddon and the Rays, and Yunel Escobar finds himself right up in the thick of it. Because of that production, he'll look to keep it rolling tonight in that 5-hole.
And it has indeed been a good month at the plate for Yunel Escobar, hitting .340 for the month of May with a couple of home runs. And he'll be facing the left-hander C.J. Wilson tonight, against whom he is 4 of 8 in his career. Tonight, Armed Forces Night at Angel Stadium. The Angels and the Rays recognizing the troops by wearing special jerseys and caps featuring camouflage. Rays and the Angels, moments away from Southern California. Late night with the Rays from Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. Great to have you looking in for Game 3 of the series. Rays on this road trip. 2 games left before they return home to Tropicana Field on Tuesday night. Afternoon game tomorrow here in Anaheim. To wrap up the trip, Rays took 2 out of 3 from the Mariners in Seattle. And they divided the first 2 games here with the Angels. The Angels winning the first game 6-5, and the Rays 3-0 winners in last night's game, their 5th shutout of the season. In fact, all 5 coming on the road, including 2 shutouts on this road trip. See the Rays sporting the camouflage caps as they prepare to square off against C.J. Wilson. Rays will have Cesar Ramos on the hill tonight, so 2 left-handers go at it. The Rays here have won 16 of their last 21 games in Anaheim. That dates back to early May in 2010. And over their last 22 games overall in their matchup against the Angels, back into June of 2011, Rays pitchers have posted an earned run mark of 2.58. And in fact, recently the Rays starting pitching has been getting much better. And we'll be updating you on the rehab start made by Alex Cobb down at Port Charlotte. The initial reaction very good down there, looking at his numbers. 9 strikeouts and no walks in 5 innings. So we will await official word on what the Rays plan to do, but there's a good chance that he'll be joining the Rays rotation on this coming homestand.
And the way that the starting pitching has been performing lately, you add a guy like Alex Cobb, and when you're able to put together consistent performances out of your starters, that is when you start to put together winning streaks, which is what the Rays are looking to do now.
That's why it's been so important for the Rays to stay within striking distance in the American League East with all of the injuries they've suffered to the rotation. And the Rays, even though they're running 5th in the East, they have remained 4.5 back of Baltimore to start the day today in the American League East. You can see since Alex Cobb went on the disabled list on the 13th of April, a little over a month ago, David Price and Chris Archer 2-3 and 2-2 respectively, and the ERA is a little higher. But Jake Odorizzi has pitched very well recently. They've gotten a lift from Cesar Ramos, and Eric Bedard has given them a major lift.
You can make a case that all 5 of those guys are trending in the right direction.
Let's take a look at the Rays lineup tonight. They will be without Desmond Jennings on the bereavement list. So this starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Brandon Geyer leads off. He'll be in left field. The number 2 hitter in right field is Will Myers. Evan Longoria at third hits third. And Sean Rodriguez at second base tonight will hit out of the cleanup spot. There's Yanel Escobar up at the number 5 position at shortstop. The DH is Logan Forsythe. James Loney hits 7th against the lefty. He'll be at first base again. Jose Molina will do the catching, and Kevin Kiermaier back up from the minor leagues, and he'll be in center field tonight and will bat 9th.
Well, taking the mound tonight for the Angels is left-hander C.J. Wilson, making his 9th start of the season, and coming off a rough outing against the Toronto Blue Jays in Toronto, when 6 innings gave up 5 earned runs and picking up his 3rd loss. But the previous 3 starts, 2 of them against the New York Yankees, he was 2-0 with a 2.05 earned run average in that span, and averaged 7 1/3 innings a start. One of the Angels' workhorses. Let's take a quick look at the Angel defense as it lines up behind him in the outfield left to right. Grant Green, Mike Trout, and Colin Cowgill across the infield third to first. Luis Jimenez, Eric Ibar, Howie Kendrick, and Albert Pujols, Chris Iannetta will be behind the plate.
Well, there's Brandon Geyer getting the start and leading off. He'll be playing left field tonight. Geyer had a good night here on Thursday when he started in left field, hit out of the 8th spot, collected his first home run of the year. Among a couple of hits, 2 hits and a sacrifice that night, he went 2 for 3 and made a couple of outstanding plays defensively in the outfield. And there's C.J. Wilson, a 17-game winner last year, 17-7. And the first pitch of this game swung on and fouled up the right side to get it underway. That ball out of play. So the fastball. First pitch presented by Pinch-A-Penny.
One thing that you like to see out of Brandon Geyer the other night was the swing started to look like it had teeth. Wasn't a defensive swing. He swung that bat with some authority. Of course, the opposite field home run showed you that.
Now, he talked about being more aggressive at the plate, but still selective, but more aggressive, and that was good to see.
Yeah, when he made that split-second decision to pull the trigger, he pulled it.
Lays off the breaking ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, all you need to know about what C.J. Wilson is going to feature tonight is you look at his pitch breakout, and there was 1 knuckleball.
Yep.
So apparently you're going to see everything.
This one right back through the middle. Stopped by Kendrick. Throw to first. Not in time. Boy, that was a shot right back at Wilson. And Kendrick made a fine pickup to make it close at first. Base hit for Geyer.
Nice job by Brandon Geyer hitting with 2 strikes. A really nice effort by Howie Kendrick out at second base. But Brandon Geyer moving too well. He's smelling base hit, gets down the line well, and beats it out.
Through the effort by Kendrick, and the throw not in time, so Geyer is aboard.
Awkward landing there at first base by Brandon Geyer. Fortunate you don't do something to screw up that ankle.
Will Myers. Will up in the number 2 position in the lineup. 1 ball, no strikes. Will 0 for 3 last night with a walk, and he hit a ball to third base, a shot down to third last night. Caught by John McDonald, who was there at the time. 2-0.
C.J. Wilson actually getting to what he's going to throw. Fastball, he will cut it, curveball, slider, changeup. You'll see a little bit of everything. He mixes his pitches very well. Is sometimes prone to command issues, and that's what the Rays will be looking to do. Be selective, look for a pitch out over the plate. That's why it was impressive what Geyer did with 2 strikes. Change your approach then and try to put the ball in play.
Ground ball, shortstop, high bar to Kendrick, 1 and over to first. 6-4-3 on the double play.
Well, that's already the 7th of the season for C.J. Wilson. His assortment of pitches, he's been very good at getting these. Rally killers.
And he has thrown a few more ground balls this year than he has in the past. His ground ball rate up pushing 57% and 50% for his career. First pitch is a strike around the knees on a breaking ball. 0-1 to count to Evan Longoria. Look at 2. Evan fouling the fastball back.
Well, your eyes light up when you see him in that area, and those are the pitches that when Evan Longoria is locked in, you're reading the back of his jersey because he's chasing it down somewhere in the outfield.
Base is empty, 2 gone. Evan does have a career home run off Wilson. Starts the night 4 for 25 against him. So those 4 hits, and he's drawn 6 walks. Count square, 2-2.
Well, that's the one thing that the Rays have been pretty successful with against C.J. Wilson in his career. He's got 50 innings against them as a starting pitcher, 25 walks in those 50 innings. So they should have opportunities tonight with pitches that are out over the plate, even the occasional walk.
And with those walks and the strikeouts, he will throw a ton of pitches. A swing and a miss. Longoria is out on strikes. We go to the bottom of the first, no score. Here in Anaheim, California, first game of this series. Game time temperature was 95, 75 as we move into the bottom of the first. And the Angels lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Colin Cowgill leads off, then Mike Trout and Albert Pujols. Howie Kendrick hits cleanup in front of C.J. Cron, with Eric Ibar, the shortstop, batting 6th. Chris Iannetta 7th. Grant Green 8th. He's at left. And Luis Jimenez, the third baseman, bats 9th.
Well, they'll be facing the left-hander Cesar Ramos. See the numbers spread out over the year. And that last start against the Seattle Mariners told you everything that you needed to know about the competitor that is Cesar Ramos, finding himself and his team down 8-0 after 2 innings. He still pitches into the 7th, retired the final 12 hitters that he faced. A tremendous effort in a losing cause.
Here's the right fielder Cowgill taking the first pitch. A low fastball out of the zone. 1 ball, no strikes. The ground ball headed up the middle. That's going to go through into center. Cowgill has a base hit.
Let's take a quick look at the Rays defense as it lines up for tonight's game. In the outfield, left to right, Brandon Geyer, Kevin Kiermaier, and Will Myers. Across the infield, third to first, Longoria, Escobar, Rodriguez, and Loney Jose Molina will be behind the plate.
There's a look at Kevin Kiermaier. He was up briefly when the Rays played the Cincinnati Reds in Cincinnati and distinguished himself by throwing Joey Votto out at the plate, trying to score from second base. Mike Trout takes a pitch too low.
As soon as he steps on the field, he's your best defender in the outfield, hands down.
He's been the best defensive player in the Rays minor league system in each of the last 2 years, and we didn't have to see him play very long to recognize his abilities out there. Well, you'd love to see him out there as much as possible with the kind of defense he brings to the game. 2 balls, no strikes, the count. Mike Trout, the hitter. Ramos behind him 3-0.
Trying to get his sight line down. Right now the fastball down, down, down. That's what happened with Caesar in that Seattle game. You know, a lot of early fastballs, not well located. They took advantage of that. He was able to make the adjustment and pitch deep into the game, but I'm going to see him starting to lock it in right now.
Strike taken by Trout. 3-1. Ramos gave up as many runs in that Seattle outing as he had in a little over 27 innings total. Nine runs, 5 earned in 6 2/3 against the Mariners. Ball 4. So a base hit and a walk, and the Angels have put the first 2 men aboard for Albert Pujols.
And on the start that you envisioned out of Cesar Ramos, this fastball down and in, walks Trout. Immediate trouble here for the Rays at the bottom of the first inning.
With Trout hitting second and Pujols third, it doesn't take you long to get into trouble with the top part of this lineup. 10 home runs, ties Pujols for 4th in the American League's home run derby. That's a strike, a fastball. So an immediate threat put up by the Angels. 1-1. Slow curve that time.
That's one of the adjustments when things were going south against the Mariners. Cesar Ramos started to mix his pitches better, and he's got a wide assortment for opposing hitters. The slow curve all the way up to the fastball in the low 90s.
Has him out front. 1-2.
Well, the Rays saw last night how eager to swing the bat Albert Pujols is in that bases loaded situation off Chris Archer, where he went after a 1-0 slider, and a nasty slider. It wasn't a hanger. And he ended up hitting that ground ball to Evan Longoria at third base, who forced out the runner and ended that threat. So taking advantage of it again right there with the 1-1 change.
Well, the big contract coming out here, a 10-year deal. Played in only 99 games last year because of foot and leg problems. He is eager to produce. Close right there. Oh my.
If that, you know what, that's one of those, the first thought that pops into your head is, if his name's not Albert Pujols, he's heading back to the dugout. That's a good fastball there by Ramos. Molina holding it there just a little bit longer. He thought it was a pretty good pitch.
2-2. And now the count is full on Pujols. So trouble in the first inning for Cesar Ramos. Howie Kendrick on deck. Ramos with local ties, born in Los Angeles, went to high school not far from here, went to Long Beach State. And he is 3-2 with Albert Pujols. Cowgill at second, Trout at first. Jose Molina will have a conference with Ramos before he makes this 3-2 pitch. The career numbers: 3 MVP awards over in the National League, 2 World Series titles with the Cardinals. It was in 06 and 11, 26th on the all-time home run list. The 3-2 bounces it foul. Big 3-2 cut on the fastball.
Well, depending on how you feel about your changeup, this would be a spot to go for it. Pujols wants to swing the bat. He does not want to walk. He wants to drive in a run. One of the most accomplished run producers in the game.
And he fouls this one away. Out of play into the upper deck down the right side. Another Ramos fastball there, 3-2. Brewers had a base hit in the first, lost the runner on a double play. Did not score, and the Angels have a threat with 2 on and nobody out in the bottom of the first. Foul ball. The off-speed pitch. Tested right here from the get-go.
Yeah, these are uncomfortable at-bats for a pitcher when they see all of your pitches, seen the curveball, seen the changeup, seen the fastball, seen it in different locations.
This will be the 9th pitch of this at-bat. And a high popper on the left side on the infield. The formality taken care of by Escobar. So a very big out there, and this time Ramos wins that battle with Albert Pujols.
And he may have gotten them to go out of the zone after that pitch. That fastball up and in. This guy, now, listen, we've seen bad communication on pop-ups and fly balls. That is tremendous communication. Those two having a nice conversation, waiting for that ball to come down.
It was high enough so they had plenty of time to resolve whatever topic they wanted to discuss. So 1 away. Now Howie Kendrick. Fouls it out of play. And we know how difficult Kendrick has been for the Rays to retire through the years. A tough out, and normally speaking, he is a very tough out here. But he's hit a lot better on the road than he has at home so far this season. There's a one-hopper that skips past Escobar into left. Cowgill will score. And the Angels take a 1-0 lead. Hit the ball hard, and Escobar made a wave.
You know Escobar is locked in the field. This is a difficult play, but this is a play that he makes. At least knocks the ball down. He's right there, but that little short hop and the backhand is able to get by him. And the Angels will take the lead on it right here. That's a tough hop right there. And you can see he's down trying to read that. But you saw how quick it was getting over the top of his glove. That ball was well struck.
Boy, that close to getting out of the inning.
Yeah, well,
on a double play.
That's the killer, because you're right. And we've seen him make that play before.
Ball on to C.J. Cron, the DH.
You get so spoiled with this infield and what we watched them do all of last year, playing together, all 4 finalists for Gold Gloves. Escobar already this year has as many errors as he had all of last year, and it's the middle of May.
Liner into left, charged by Geyer. Bases are going to be loaded. Trout stops at third.
Well, here's the thing, too. That ball was clearly in the hole. Mike Trout running. and he's held up while Brandon Guyer bobbled that ball. You hope for the Rays' sake that comes back to haunt him. Maybe get a double play ball here and get out of this inning. But right there, the bobble by Guyer just kind of feathers a pitch in there and it gets stroked out to left field. And then here comes Brandon Guyer, but at this point, the stop sign had already been put up, and Trout was already slowing down there at third. Had a chance to score probably after that.
Well, the Rays benefited because the ball was hit so hard. So Jim Hickey out there chatting with Ramos, and the Rays have Brandon Gomes up in the bullpen. Three hits and a walk in the inning. A run is home, one out. The bases are loaded. Eric Ibar, the switch hitting shortstop, about to step in.
And Joe Madden already with that bullpen. I think he's having visions of the Seattle game. Is not going to be willing to sit back and let the team fall into a huge deficit early.
First pitch is a strike. Ibar, 220, is a right-handed hitter. .271 overall. He's hit .337 for the last 3 weeks to get that average up over .270. And a shot back into left. Guyer on the run. He's going to leap and make the catch. Now he drops it. The hitter's going to be out. Trout will score. And the other runners wind up at first and second. So Guyer made the catch. You know, a couple of weeks ago, that might not have been a catch, but it is tonight.
Yeah, that would not, absolutely would not have been a catch, but a nice job. Brandon Guyer saving the Rays a couple of extra runs with that play right there. Ends up being a sac fly, but that is, the way that ball came off the bat, you're thinking this is going to clear the bases, but that little jump at the end, and then that ball comes flipping out of there as he goes to make the transition. See right there with the catch. And then as he goes to reach in, you see the ball come free, but clearly a catch.
So 2-0 now. Chris Iannetta, the catcher, is at the plate. The pitch is down. Kendrick on second and Crone at first.
You know, Dwayne, you just never know what a ball will do in one of those outfielder's gloves. However, with him having not a closed webbing, open webbing, he had a pretty good idea.
Fly ball to right. Myers waiting on this one. That retires the side. The Angels scored 2 runs. We're through one. It's 2-0 Los Angeles. On Sun Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Checkers. Visit your local Checkers for the $2 shrimp and fries box. Rays down 2-0. It could have been a lot worse. So the Rays move into the second down by only 2.
Think about the scenario if that ball gets over Brandon Guyer's head. You at least have a deficit of 3-0 with runners on second and third and 1 out. But that catch, it's about the only time a 2-run deficit after the first inning, and you're thankful for it.
Here's Sean Rodriguez hitting cleanup in the Rays lineup tonight against C.J. Wilson. First pitch is a fastball too close. 1-0. Liner into left field. That's going to fall in front of Grant Green. A solid line drive by Sean Rodriguez, who continues to swing the bat, I think, as well as we've ever seen him swing the bat.
Aggressively. Yep. Swinging aggressively. And he always has that big swing, but you're right. He's playing with a lot of confidence right now. We've seen a lot of energy out of him on the base paths in the field, swinging the bat with confidence. That stiff front leg and that nice high finish. He ropes that ball out to left field.
So for the second straight inning, the Rays put the leadoff man on. Yanel Escobar looks at a breaking ball for a strike. He is 4 of 8 in his career against C.J. Wilson, and 4 out of 7 in this series with a home run.
Yeah, he's catching them at the right time because he's been swinging the bat very well the last couple of weeks.
Straightens him up with a fastball in. Our Toyota trend featuring Yanel Escobar. You can see what he's done in the month of May. After March and April was a 219 stretch, now 340 in May.
Well, that's why you saw on the second pitch of this at bat why C.J. Wilson went up and in. Not only does he understand that Escobar has had some success off of him, but knows that he's hot overall right now. 3 for 3 last night with an intentional walk. So he buzzed him up and in, make him a little bit uncomfortable, and try to go that route.
Escobar hit his home run off an 0-2 fastball against Jared Weaver last night. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rays start tonight at 19-24 on the year. A game under 500 now on the road. Escobar out in front and out on strikes.
That's the one advantage that C.J. Wilson has because of all the different variety of pitches that you will see. When he's out in front of you, 2 strikes, or even with 2 strikes, he can come at you with just about anything. So you've got to be ready to cover all of it.
Yeah, he's got the curveball and the slider and the changeup. Cut the ball a little bit. As you mentioned, there's a knuckleball thrown in there, and I think a split just for good measure.
Well, you're taking a look at those printouts, and you're like, come on. I mean, it just goes on forever, the number of pitches, but he certainly gives you a lot to think about, that's for sure.
1-0 the count to Logan Forsythe, with Rodriguez at first and 1 down. A ball and a strike. Forsythe, the designated hitter in here against the left-hander Wilson. Forsythe, a .280 lifetime hitter against lefties. He's behind 1-2 right now. Rays had a runner in the first, lost him a double play ball. Rodriguez at first with one out in the second. Wilson coming off a 6-inning outing and a loss his last time. That was on the road in Toronto, when he gave up 5 runs and a 7-3 loss. Back foot out of the way, and the count is 2-2. Wilson makes a lot of pitches, and by today's standards a relatively high pitch count consistently. Made 116 pitches his last time out, 125 the time before that. He's consistently over 100 pitches, and normally up around 110, 115. Down to third, Jimenez. Out at second. The scoop by Jimenez and his throw to Kendrick beats Rodriguez to the bag.
Well, that's an impressive play right there to cut down the lead runner. Jimenez has to charge that ball. Not an easy hop to handle, and then as he's running in, got to somehow on the run get this throw back to second base. Really got to get good extension on the release point of that throw, right on the money.
Two outs with Forsythe aboard on a fielder's choice. James Loney. But 311 ranks him 6th in the American League in hitting. 333 against lefties. And he skies the first pitch into left. A lot of time for Green, who makes the catch. The Rays get a hit, leave a man. Bottom of inning 2 coming up, 2-0 Angels. Rays looking forward to that. The logical spot would be when the Rays get home to have him pitch the third game of the Oakland series, which would be that Thursday game. Oakland and the Red Sox come in on this next Rays homestand. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Here's Grant Green. Look after the first pitch and fouling it out of play for a strike. Recently, the rotation has started to round into shape. We touched on that last night coming in. The Rays starting rotation earned run mark had gone to 6th in the league, a marked improvement over what it had been. Of course, the other side of that is getting sufficient innings out of their starters.
Yeah, that had been a trouble spot. It continues to not be perfect. They're getting better, that's for sure. That always is very important, trying to make sure that that bullpen stays fresh for a long 6-month season and hopefully beyond that.
Long foul ball right there. Brandon Gomes up, throwing in the bullpen.
You know the way that it breaks out. The Rays right now are 29 2/3 innings more out of their bullpen than the same time last year.
There is a strike call. Green caught looking for the first out. And what you're concerned about there, you want to reverse that trend, because there's 3/4 of the season left. A lot of ground to cover for both the rotation and the bullpen. And you don't want these early innings to adversely affect the bullpen for the rest of the way.
Well, no, and we've seen that when the Rays were in that extended rut of just not being able to get past 5 innings, it did start to take a toll.
Yep.
The bullpen really struggled.
Pitch bounces in, and Jimenez hit by that pitch, apparently.
Yeah,
yep.
That's one of the stranger hit by pitches that you will see. Watch this bounce right up and catch Jimenez right on the left knee.
Jimenez goes to first. One on, one out for the top of the order. Cowgill started the first with a single and scored a run. Cowgill has shown a good eye and the ability to work a good at bat. He'll see a lot of pitches. That first one in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes.
Makes it very important for Cesar Ramos, any other pitcher on this Rays team, to really bear down against him because of that. Angels are counting on him to get on base because of who's coming up behind him.
And his on-base percentage has been over 400. Low. 2-0. Back to that bullpen and rotation discussion. You can see the effect it's had on the Rays bullpen more than anybody else in the big leagues, just edging out the Dodgers bullpen.
It's a lot of work early in the year.
And you see Gomes, he was up in the first inning, up here in the second inning as well. That doesn't factor in all the times that pitchers have been up in the bullpen and didn't get into a game.
Well, until that, game 1 here, Grant Balfour getting in, there was a streak where he was up 3 or 4 times in a row, 3 or 4 games in a row, never got into the game. But you're down there heating it up. That takes a toll too.
Yeah, that's not game situations, but it does take its toll without question. Three and one. Mike Trout is on deck. Well, you could see Gomes in the game as early as Trout, the right-handed bat.
Yeah, just thinking that. I mean, if he walks Cowgill here, somehow loses him, even gives up a hit, that may be the end of his night already.
Now the count is full.
Cowgill swinging like a cleanup hitter there. 3-1 fastball, and he's not looking to hit this ball hard somewhere. He's looking to hit it specifically hard into the left field seats or the bullpen. Really pulled off that fastball. That lets Ramos get right back in this count.
Chop. That ball will get past Escobar into center. Jimenez heads to third. The throw is not in time, and up to second goes Cowgill.
Kiermaier got a little bit greedy right there. A little bit greedy, and he knew it. As soon as he let that ball go, you could see him put his hands on his head because he knew that that was going to allow Cowgill to get up. Chopper outside of Escobar right here, trying to get the runner at third. That allows Cowgill to move up, and Joe Madden is coming out to make the change.
Well, the right-handed bat of Mike Trout is due. He'll be up with men at second and third, and Ramos will be lifted here. Madden out to make the change. After an inning and a third, he leaves with men at second and third. 35 pitches, 2 runs, and a couple men on as he leaves. Those responsible to his account. And our Fiat pitching change, Brandon Gomes comes on for the 20th time with the right-handed bat of Mike Trout due up. Boy, a frustrating situation because Cowgill hit the ball on the ground, and the Rays had the defense shaded toward the hole.
Look where Escobar is. Right there. He is over in the hole. And you're going to see Cowgill hit this chopper. You know, I know that Joe Madden says that there's no downside to the shift. But it's bit him twice because you remember Cowgill led off the game with a base hit in the same spot with Escobar pulled way over in the hole. But
Yeah.
Escobar's taking away the ground ball between short and third and giving him the ground ball to short and up the middle, and he's taken it twice. The second one, as you pointed out in the break, it's a double play ball end of the inning.
That's the frustrating thing for Ramos there. It's a double play ball, and he's in the dugout, and his teammates are hitting right now.
Right.
But instead it goes as the base hit, and on the throw to third, Cowgill winds up at second. So a tough spot here for Gomes to face Mike Trout. There's ball one. Trout walked his first time. Two runs, 4 hits, Angels with a major threat. Fastball in for a strike. 1-1. Gomes was in the game briefly here Thursday night following Eric Bedard. Big cut and a miss on the fastball. You can see what was on Trout's mind there.
Well, runners out at second and third. He's looking to produce here, and Brandon Gomes just gets that fastball right out over the plate, right at the belt, maybe just above that. Gets it right over the swing. You could try to throw another one, 1-2, or you could go another fastball a little bit higher than that, maybe around the letters.
And a little too high that time, but that was the idea.
You know, that's why that pitch is not that easy to execute. You can say that's the pitch he should go to, that's what Brandon wants to do, but the execution of the fastball at the top of the strike zone is not easy. You're just so used to your entire career coming up, pitching down in the zone, pitch up.
Skied back into center. Kiermaier back, makes the catch. The throw's going to be to third. It's a good throw. He is safe at third base.
I'm going to tell you something right now. That was impressive. Kiermaier is deep in center field, even on the right side, but the catch and release on that throw to go along with the carry, you can understand why he's the best defender. Look how quickly he gets rid of that ball.
And he hustled to get himself into throwing position as well. The run scores. Jimenez crosses the plate. So Trout makes it 3-0. And Calgill got in there ahead of the throw, but a very impressive effort indeed by Kiermaier in center field. There's Albert Pujols. First pitch strike. A 2-run first, another run in the second by the Angels. And boy, he had a pitch out over the plate right there and fouled it back. 0-2. Out of the game after an inning and a third. Molina's going to chat now with Gomes.
You know, unfortunately for the Rays, this is one of those games where the bullpen is going to be asked to carry a heavy burden.
Yeah, those innings totals that we showed you a few minutes ago, they're going to start ringing more and more innings on that account.
Going to distance themselves from the Dodgers.
2 strikes the count to Pujols. Up the right side toward the line. Long run for Myers. Still going. That's going to be a fair ball and will bounce into the stands. Calgill scores the 4th run of the game. Pujols gets a double. His 11th of the year and a run batted in.
The one place that you're not defending Albert Pujols is right down the right field line.
I'll tell you, if you're the Rays and you look at the defensive charge tonight, there's nothing but frustration, and here's another example of that.
Off-speed pitch. You get weak contact on a not Albert Pujols-like swing, and look at the placement. Drops it just inside the line.
Kendrick chops it towards short. Escobar to his left to make the pickup. Kendrick is out of there, but the Angels score 2 more runs, and now they lead 4-0.
Jesus in general, a pretty healthy eater. We caught up with him and asked him about his late night snack of choice.
No, I'm not really into like the snacks type of thing. I'm trying to usually, healthy eater, but famous Amos once in a while, can't beat that. Wife's gonna kill me, but
yeah, you become a little chocolate-holic lately.
Yeah, it went from ice cream, and that was for the team. And then we started doing one famous Amos before every game. It started in May, and been going good so far. So we just trying to keep it. And Chico's he's probably the worst person to help me out with this, but it's been fun.
Chico, of course, is Chris Fernandez, video coordinator for the Rays. And guys, he has been an influence on DeJesus. He was responsible for the ice cream in Seattle, and now famous cookies one a day.
Yeah, Chico, the nutrition specialist and individual advisor to David DeJesus.
He has impeccable taste. You can trust what he says is good.
Yeah, oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we caught Chico's act last night on the mechanical bull.
Which was tremendous. Front row seats.
Yes.
I saw you had front row seats.
We did. Wouldn't have missed it. Stayed up late for that. Way past my normal bedtime. 2-2 the count to Molina.
Good times had by all.
And it's a little early on late night with the Rays, but stay tuned. We might see a rendition of that performance. So stay with us. More to come.
Now that's a tease.
3-2 the count to Molina. You see Kevin Kiermaier on deck. And ball 4. Molina draws the walk.
Interesting choice of pitches right there. Jose Molina's not exactly been tearing the cover off the baseball. And with 3 balls, you're going to throw a big curveball. I mean, if you're going to challenge anybody, that's the time to do it with a 4-run lead.
Well, here are the season numbers for Kevin Kiermaier. 322 at AAA Durham. And he fouls the first pitch, a fastball fouled out of play, strike 1. Kiermaier, 24 years old. Rays put the leadoff man on base for the 3rd consecutive inning. The take on the pitch wide. It's 1-1. Rays facing C.J. Wilson, a 33-year-old left-hander. Fastball foul back makes it 1-2. The ground ball off the mid of Pujols, who recovers and goes down to second. They'll get the force on Molina on the sharply hit ball by Kiermaier. Molina's forced. Kiermaier reaches on a fielder's choice aboard with 1 out.
That was a good at-bat there by Kevin Kiermaier. C.J. Wilson can be awfully tough on left-handed hitters. And with 2 strikes, he hit that ball hard.
Yeah, he hung in there well to get to that count and then that pitch. And you're right, Wilson holding lefties to a 170 average this year.
That's going to be the question. Is Kevin Kiermaier going to be able to hit consistently enough at the big league level? You have at-bats like that. That shows you something. You know what he can do defensively. He can run,
And he's had a nice run, as we saw by his numbers at AAA. Brandon Guyer takes a pitch high. As a young player, you're looking for an opportunity and getting a chance to start against a tough left-hander here tonight.
Same with the guy in the batter's box right now. The work that he did the other night.
Guyer takes this pitch inside, 2-0. Brandon had a base hit his first time. Sent it back over the mound. There's a shot back into right field. That's got some carry. Cowgill to the wall, and he's going to make the catch. And now Kiermaier hustles to get back into first. Again, pretty good opposite field pop right there from Guyer. And Cowgill had to go to the wall after that one.
And that's why you get excited with the ball off the bat there from Brandon Guyer, because of that home run 2 nights ago that he drilled out there into right center field. That ball away, gets full extension. And takes Cowgill right back to the padding.
Two outs with Kiermaier still at first. There's Will Myers. That's a foul ball, just foul. Going to take it up the left field line for an extra base hit. Strike one. Will back after that rosin bag. No batting gloves for Will Myers. Fouls this one back right off the top of the screen. 0-2. Pretty good cut at that pitch. All game in the top half of the third. And a swing and a miss. Fastball up. Myers out on strikes. Bottom of the third, approaching 4-0 Los Angeles. Stadium, late night with the Rays, and we salute California Chrome for the win in the Preakness today.
You're celebrating it right there.
That's right. Time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SunSportsFan Photo for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Just a little trip down memory lane to when our crew managed to make it to the Preakness. Here we go into the bottom of the third inning. C.J. Cron, the DH, leads off for the Angels, with Brandon Gomes on the hill in relief of Cesar Ramos. There's a first pitch strike. Cron, Ibar, and Iannetta due up. One Cron with very good power.
He mishit a ball here the other night, and Desmond Jennings had to go right up to the top of the wall and just a tad over to bring it back.
Yeah, probably robbed him of a home run. Desmond on the bereavement list and not with the club for the next game or two. Probably back Tuesday when the team is back home against Oakland.
Yeah, being 6'4", 235 doesn't hurt. You know, the Angels are looking to replace the home runs, the power of Mark Trumbo, who was traded in a Tyler Skaggs deal.
Well, they say that you can tell how strong a guy is, but how high the pop-up is. There is a monster pop-up right there, and Cron is out number one.
Well, it allowed Yunel Escobar and Evan Longoria to hash out whatever they were talking about earlier in the game.
Yeah, that was a mile-high pop-up on the infield. One gone. This is Eric Ibar.
Interesting to see how Joe Madden parses out these outs, these innings in this bullpen tonight. Brandon Gomes, he's a guy that can give you a little bit of length.
Ibar fouls it back. He drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the first inning. That's that catch made by Geyer, who tracked it down racing into left center field. Held the damage to 2 runs in the first. It could have been 3 or 4 quite easily. Upstairs, it's 1-1. Four runs, 5 hits for Los Angeles. No runs, 2 hits for the Rays. And a popper on the right side this time for Sean Rodriguez. Ibar is the second out. 2 up, 2 down.
Well, you look at the breakout here. Just Rays are down just 4 runs. It's early. You start to put together some innings where you throw up some zeros and give them a chance. They've hit some balls hard off of C.J. Wilson early in this game. Don't obviously have anything to show for it, but by no stretch are the Rays out of this one, even though it hasn't been a very good start.
Chris Iannetta, the veteran catcher, with the bases empty. It's one into deep right. Myers to the wall, and that's going to be off the wall. Kiermaier plays the carom. Throw to second. They got a chance. Oh, he gets in there under the tag. What a play by Kiermaier on the rebound. The carom off the wall and found himself somehow in a position to make that a play at second base.
I'll tell you what, he's fun to watch out there. This ball going to get over Will Myers, but watch Kiermaier as he's spinning. He lets this thing fly right there. You can see the right leg of Iannetta gets in there.
The fact that was even a play, quite amazing.
I mean, really. He's got such a quick release. The arm is strong enough, but the release is so quick.
Sixth double of the year for the Angels catcher. Now it's Grant Green. There's a strike. And the one strikeout posted by Ramos when he was in the game. There's a shot deep to center. Kiermaier goes to the wall and runs out of room. Green, a two-run blast, and it's 6-0. Green in the lineup tonight because he was 7 of 15 against lefties. He struck out against Ramos and clobbers a two-run home run against the right-hander.
Well, so much for throwing up zeros. That ball was well struck. Grant Green right down and through that baseball, dead center field. Great shot of it there. That backspin created, and that carry takes it right out to the rocks.
Jimenez fouls this one, strike one. First home run of the year for Green. Well, he got into that one. Oh, 2. Two strikes the count to Jimenez. And he is out on strikes, retiring the side, but not before the Angels add two more. 6-0 Los Angeles.
On this Armed Forces Day before the game, military on the field as Rays players and Angels players show their appreciation. Also, kids of military members were play ball announcers today. They were bat kids. They Steel third participants as well. So Fox Sports Sports especially proud to recognize the Gold Star Pin Campaign, which honors the families of fallen service members. To learn more, you can visit goldstarpins.org. Guys?
Kevin Longoria leading off the fourth, hitting the ball on the ground to third. Jimenez throws him out. So we're underway here in the fourth inning. Longoria 0 for 2 now. Sean Rodriguez will be the next hitter, and then Yunel Escobar. Rodriguez with a base hit in the second inning. Rays find themselves down 6-0. Strike one.
Yeah, and Evan Longoria is one of those guys who we keep talking about it. The Rays have got to, he's got to find a way to get it going for them offensively. We're in game 6 now of this road trip, just 2 hits on the trip. Obviously know that he's a much better hitter than that.
Pitch coming in on Sean as he fights it off.
Changed arm angles. So not only is he going to throw every pitch in the book at you, but he also is going to change the release point. C.J. Wilson. Plenty of wiggle room here with a 6-run lead.
We talked about his pitch count earlier. Here's a guy who does make a lot of pitches. Ground ball to Ibarra, short, high throw, but down on the bag. Pujols to complete the out. 2 gone. And one of the things that Wilson's had going for him as an amateur player in high school and even some in college, junior college to begin with, he was not a drafted player out of high school. He was not recruited and did not pitch a lot. He played a lot in the outfield, close at first base. 2 gone. So here he is, 33 years old, and he pitches deep into games. But he was not one of those young players who, as a teenager, logged a ton of innings.
And he started his career out in the bullpen. I mean, this was a guy with the Texas Rangers that was 52 of 63 in the save department. Didn't become a full-time starter until 2010. And you're right, all he's done since then is win in the teens every year, as far as win and more than 200 innings in all 4 seasons.
That's a strike, and the count is 2-2. So there could be something to learn there about as we talk about all of the arm injuries and the Tommy John surgeries that have popped up here. He did not carry a lot of innings load as a young preteen and a teenage player. And he strikes out Escobar. 2 ground balls and a strikeout. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 6-0 Angels. To nothing, the Angels lead the Rays. The Rays' wives will host a spring cleaning drive to benefit the Pet Pal thrift store May 24th. Fans are asked to bring donations of gently used items in good condition to Lot 7 outside Gate 1. For more information, visit www.raysbaseball.com/pet-drive. Top of the batting order here in the bottom of the fourth for Los Angeles, Colin Cowgill. He's 2 for 2 and 2 runs scored. So he's done his job as the leadoff man in this game, and he takes a strike.
And they've also scored 2 runs in each inning. You need to put a stop to these streaks.
Oh-2, a foul ball back. Well, the good news is that the Orioles lost to Kansas City 1-0. And the Rays have been helped out by that, but sooner or later, the Rays are going to have to take matters into their own hands. They have remained within reach in the East, starting today 4.5 behind Baltimore. Right now, they're 4 back of Baltimore. So they're still relevant in the East. But they're going to have to do some turning around and take charge of a situation here in the not too distant future. 1-2 the count to Cowgill.
Well, you know, you look at the way, Dwayne, the season breaks out for the Rays, so inconsistent. You know, they've had 2 3-game winning streaks, but they've also had 2 4-game losing streaks to go along with a couple 3-game losing streaks. So it's just been a jumble of, you know, 3 good, 3 bad, nothing consistently put together, and it goes back to the starting pitching. When 60% of your rotation is on the disabled list early in the season, you can see how that can happen. But you're right, at some point you can't keep hoping the guys ahead of you lose. You've got to go win.
Yeah, the Yankees beat the Pirates 7-1, so the Rays, it's a foul ball, a foul tip strikeout. They get Cowgill here. It's sooner or later, and the hope is that the Rays, when they get this rotation back, and they're very hopeful with the performance of Alex Cobb, they'll have him back and they can settle in and play their kind of game. They've been a little disjointed in a number of areas through this first quarter of the season.
You know, that will absolutely help, but let's remember, he's only going to affect 1 game every 5 days. Obviously, you think about, you know, him being, you know, the pitcher that we know that he is. That's obviously a big boost, but they're going to have other facets of the game step up.
Yep.
Including offense. Offense has been so inconsistent.
Yeah, you can't get away from the offense, but you know, the core of this team is its pitching, and you're right in that he'll be out there every 5 days, but what he does as a starting pitcher will also affect other games in terms of that bullpen load, the innings load and build up that has gone on. But you're right, you know, there have been times offensively where this club has been spotty. And even though coming into this game they've made only 22 errors, there have been times when the defense has not been as consistently as excellent as we have come to see this team through the last 5 or 6 years.
Well, we brought up, you know, Yunel Escobar already matching his error total from last year. And you're right, a lot of the errors or even the misplays that aren't necessarily errors have been in key spots.
So staying close is a key. So they're positioned so that they can make a move. Now things have to start falling into place for them and play the kind of game that Joe Madden is so used to referencing as the Rays way of playing baseball. And frankly, that has not been the case here all too often the first quarter of the season. Two and one to count to Albert Pujols. Jim Hickey on the bullpen phone, just placing a call. start to see a little action down there. Ground ball and toward the hole, grabbed by Escobar. Long throw, it skips in and is grabbed on the other end by Loney to retire the side. They shaded Pujols toward the hole. Escobar there. A 1-2-3 fourth inning. Not necessarily routine, but they got him. On to the fifth. The Angels have taken the early lead in this game and now moving into the middle stages. In the game tonight and all season long, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Logan Forsythe to lead it off here in the fifth inning. Rays facing C.J. Wilson. First pitch to Forsythe is a strike. One and one. Rays have 2 hits. They've drawn a walk against Wilson. Retired the side in order for the first time in the fourth inning. Chopped to short. Eric Ibar's throw to first in time. So Forsythe 0 for 2 and the first out in the fifth.
C.J. Wilson, Dwayne, you mentioned earlier about him getting more ground balls this year, and we've seen a number today. This Rays lineup, a different Rays lineup. I think when we came in, a little bit surprised. You obviously want to load up on right-handed hitters because C.J. Wilson's so tough on lefties. You're not going to take this guy out because he's so consistent against righties and lefties.
Yeah, he's hitting over .330 against left-handed pitching. He's had some remarkable numbers in his stay with the Rays. Takes ball one, a fastball, 1-0. Two balls, no strikes. Chopper to the right side, Kendrick to his left, and Loney is out number 2. So 2 ground balls. 4 of the last 5 outs have come on ground balls, and he threw a double play ball back in the first inning after Geyer had opened the game with a base hit. He got a 6-4-3 double play out of Will Myers.
Been able to get him when he needed him. And right now the Rays offense just not able to do much. Hit some balls hard early in this game, but C.J. Wilson has kind of locked it in as that lead continued to grow.
Jose Molina wades into a fastball, fouls it out of play up the right side. 16th start of the year for Molina behind the plate. 9 of those have been the starts by David Price. Ryan Hannigan in between with that hamstring situation. They're describing it now as between a cramp and maybe a little bit of a strain. I'm not sure where that leaves him.
I've never heard of something in between a cramp and a strain.
Cowgill in foul territory handles that, so Molina's out, and the Rays are up and down 1-2-3 for the second straight inning. 6-0 Angels.
From Angel Stadium in Anaheim, the Rays trailing 6-0. Hey, there's some new colognes that made its way into the Rays clubhouse. Last night, Joe Madden gave this shirt out to the player of the game. Turned out to be Cole Figueroa. And look, there it is, fresh from the movie Anchorman from Odeon. Sex Panther. Best thing about that cologne, guys, was the box you open up starts to growl. And then today, High Karate. He found a 1970s edition of High Karate online, and the cologne and aftershave made its way down to the Rays clubhouse. There will be more added as we continue back to Tropicana Field, but the latest two, High Karate and Sex Panther, guys.
1970, a good year for Oriental Lime, a vintage year.
Can you imagine? Oh my word, that dugout must reek.
Oh,
I look at the Sex Panther by Odeon. And you know it's made with bits of real Panthers, so you know it's good.
Juan Carlos Oviedo is the new pitcher here for the Rays as we get set to move into the bottom of the 5th.
What about the picture of Todd Callis in the late night with the Rays marquee? How much cologne did he have splashed all over himself? He had the wet hair.
That's
no
why they
shirt.
had to order a new supply while they were here.
He was fresh.
Now Kendrick takes the pitch for a ball, 1-0. To strike, 1-1. Todd appeared that he had been out in the sun a little while as well in that shot.
Was that Todd? Was that George Hamilton?
Could have been George. 1-1 shot into right field. Myers angling to his left, back toward the foul line, and he makes the catch.
This has been a good week for Todd, late night with the Rays. We've had a number of tremendous Todd Callis photographs.
We have, documenting the trip one day at a time.
Preakness outfit, splashing himself with water. That last one, I think, was by far the best. And maybe the water splash.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that last one was water or cologne or what it was.
He was getting it done that night.
Crone fouls it back. C.J. Crone. Yeah, they have a little refreshment stand out there on top of the rocks here in Anaheim. 1 ball, 1 strike, so you get that center field view out there. I think Todd explored that area of Angel Stadium as well.
He had a late night last night, late night of work.
One dedicated professional. 1-1 to count to Crone.
You know, he's been kind of like our bullpen guy on this trip. We have really placed a heavy load onto him.
He's made a lot of pitches on this trip. Fly ball into left. Brandon Geyer. Two gone. Eric Ibar. Ramos worked an inning and a third, gave up 4. Randy Gomes 2 2/3, charged with 2, and now Oviedo into this game. One and 0.
Limited duty, but like what you've seen out of Oviedo and what he is going to bring to this bullpen as he just continues to build arm strength. Remember, he has not pitched in the big leagues since 2011 and didn't make it out of spring training because of visa issues. He got in late and finally getting the opportunity to pitch here, and the fastball velocity has gotten better. The changeup has been good from day one. This is a guy who had 92 saves in 3 seasons with the Marlins. Could be a huge addition to this bullpen for the Rays.
Yeah, he throws a strike. He's retired the first 2 here in the 5th. 2-1 now to Eric Ibar. And it seems every time out, he's been a little sharper, a little better command. And of course, he skips this one right by the feet of the hitter Ibar.
We're having a night just like the Rays.
Yeah.
The command
just a little bit low.
Tried the corner and missed.
So the count, 3 balls and a strike. Comebacker, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. That's 20 in a row retired by Oviedo, spread over the last few appearances. Late night with the Rays from Anaheim. We're through 5. The Angels lead the Rays. Give a nod to the troops with the Alex Cobb military-themed bobblehead when the Rays take on the Red Sox Friday, May 23rd. You can only get this exclusive item by purchasing a Tampa Bay Times ticket tandem. So get yours by calling 888-FAN-RAYS or visiting RaysBaseball.com/tandems. On to the 6th inning we go. The Rays facing C.J. Wilson tonight. Kevin Kiermaier will open the 6th inning. Hit the ball sharply down the first base side his first time and reached out a fielder's choice. Takes a strike at the knees. Up the middle, and that ball skips away from Ibar, shooting to his left, and that's going to be a base hit for Kiermaier. That'll be his first hit. Hit the ball back through the middle, and Ibar had trouble handling it. So there is hit number 1 for Kevin Kiermaier. And of course, there you go. They throw it right into the stands. The old switch the ball trick.
Nice job of reaching out there. He hit that ball hard. Ibar not able to handle it, but Kiermaier was scooting up that line. I really like what you can see him bringing to this team.
Sure can. Well, that ball tossed a little high over there, and Pujols managed to grab it. Kiermaier wasn't sure where that ball was going to go.
Yeah, stay on the bag. George Hendrick, first base coach, he'll let you know.
Ball 1 to Brandon Guyer. Yeah, you're right, Kiermaier. We liked what we saw of him in Cincinnati. The throw he made to the plate to throw out Joey Votto. A couple of great throws here tonight. Little tap back. Wilson will take it to second out there, and to first out there. They get the double play.
There's a little bit of that athleticism that you were talking about, Dwayne, with C.J. Wilson playing other positions coming up early on. He throws that ball on the move, and it was a good throw to get this double play started right here. Just feathers that ball right there to Kendrick. Hangs right in there with Kiermaier bearing down and completes the throw to Pujols.
Will Myers looks at a pitch low. 1 ball, no strikes. So the single by Kiermaier erased on the 1-4-3 double play. And that's a strike. Myers had stepped out but not received time. And the pitch called a strike by Jim Reynolds.
That is exactly how the night has gone for the Rays. You can see right here late in the process, ask for time. No, it's got to be granted. Jim Reynolds does not do it. Calls a strike. C.J. Wilson enjoying that moment.
Now it's 1-2 on Will.
But what a crummy night so far for the Rays.
Oh, hasn't it been?
Jeez.
It's outside, 2-2. It's been one of those nights when the defense has been crossed up by the Angel hitters, and when the Rays seem to maybe get a little something going, it sputters right out. A couple double play balls. Full count now on Myers. Tough night for Cesar Ramos. 4 runs and an inning and a third. Gomes 2 runs, 2 2/3. Full count on Will. who was grounded into a double play and struck out swinging. Fouls it back out of play. So he'll see another 3-2 pitch. So look at Kevin Kiermaier. He might be looking for that baseball, and souvenir baseball of his first big league hit. David DeJesus in charge of it. He said, what baseball? We flipped that one into the stands. High pop up. Wilson making the call. Now here comes Jimenez over from third. So the Rays are out in the sixth, and they trail 6-0. All on Sun Sports is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most innovative lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. By Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. When cancer strikes, strike back with CyberKnife. Available exclusively at Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. And by Wesley Chapel Toyota and Wesley Chapel Honda, home of the lifetime warranty. I-75 North. Exit 279. First pitch in the bottom of the sixth inning is popped up straight back and foul out of play. That's a one strike count on Chris Iannetta, the catcher. With 2 outs in the third, Iannetta doubled and then rode home on Grant Green's first home run of the year. Green will follow him here in the sixth. And then Jimenez. Strike 2. Juan Carlos Oviedo on the hill for the Rays, their third pitcher. He had a 1-2-3 fifth inning. Ball 2 strikes.
Production throughout tonight for the Angels.
RBIs spread out as well. Trout has 1, Pujols 1, Kendrick 1, Ibar 1, Green 2 on the home run.
That was early and often. 2 runs in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the third. And that's where we sit right now.
Foul ball. See another 1-2 pitch. Rays will be wrapping up this road trip tomorrow. David Price will be opposed by right-hander Matt Shoemaker. Cut to miss, and Ionetta's out of there.
That's what you love about Oviedo and his stuff. That fastball coming back, that changeup. You know, he'll throw that pitch in the mid to upper 80s and just watch how it bottoms out. It's got a split action.
That's 21 in a row. He's retired, spread over his last number of outings.
Keeps pitching like that, he should be finding himself in some more high leverage situations.
1-0 the count to Green.
Right now, the way Joe Madden has it set up, I mean, the Rays have the lead and he can get 6 from his starter. You know, it's McGee, Peralta, Balfour. Oviedo may be looking to try to get some outs out there.
A 1-1 count. Oviedo had Tommy John surgery in September of 2012. And recently seems to be throwing the ball almost as well as ever. So 92 major league saves. Now you see it, now you don't. 2-2 the count.
You know, that fastball's right around +10 off of the changeup. And so you see that ball, and they have the same spin, the same look.
There you go. Right there's the spread. Full count.
You know, it's almost, it's like Fernando Rodney light. A couple miles an hour down, maybe velocity. But he keeps that same spread with the fastball changeup. They look exactly the same.
And up a bit. So he walks Green. So after 21 straight, a 1-out walk in the 6th. You can send your favorite Rays players to the Twin Cities this summer to play in the MLB All-Star Game. Vote at Tropicana Field or simply log on to RaysBaseball.com to fill out your ballot. Vote Rays and vote often. Luis Jimenez grounds this one foul off the front of the Angels dugout. Here the Rays are down 6-0. Tigers beat the Red Sox in Boston 6-1. Twins beat the Mariners 4-3, and the Royals beat Baltimore in Kansas City 1-0. Ball away from Molina, reaching across, and down to second goes Green. Wild pitch charge to Oviedo. And a ground ball, base hit through the left side. Green's going to stop at third. Jimenez with a single. Sets up first and third with 1 out.
The Angels just continue to put pressure on the Rays tonight. This time it's 8-9, taking a walk and a base hit. to left field. Boy, Jimenez not fooled by that off-speed pitch, stays right on it.
So we go back to the top of the order, and Colin Cowgill had a good night with 2 runs scored, 2 for 3 overall. Strike. In the Rays bullpen as we play in the bottom half of the 6th inning. The right-hander Lukey up and throwing. It's 1-1. Cowgill out of the University of Kentucky. Eventually got to the big leagues briefly with Arizona. Spent some time with Oakland and the Angels as well as the Mets. Foul. Now 1-2. Cowgill will be 28 years old later on this month. Fastball is upstairs, hitting 94. A little over 30 pitches. There's Mike Trout on deck. And we go to 3-2 on this hitter. Oviedo struck out Iannetta to start the inning, but a walk, a wild pitch, and a base hit, 1st and 3rd, and a full count to Cowgill. Runner breaks off first, and ball 4 to load the bases. They'll be loaded for Mike Trout.
Now, all of that good work by Oviedo starting to come undone here. And at the wrong time with the wrong hitters coming to the plate.
Now the Rays hurt by Trout here on Thursday night with the walk-off home run. He walked 3 times last night. They got him on a ground ball to short his first time up. And he walked tonight. Drove in a run with a fly ball in the 2nd, batting with the bases loaded, and a pitching change coming. The Angels have loaded the bases with one out. Oviedo out of the game in favor of Lukey. Rays flex packs have been a hit with fans across Tampa Bay. Score one for yourself and choose any of 3, 6, or 9 games you would like to attend throughout the season at great savings and receive members-only rewards. To purchase your flex pack, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit raysbaseball.com/FLEX. Rays bring on their 4th pitcher of this game. It has been all Los Angeles Angels so far tonight. 20th appearance for Lukey.
It's one thing to come into a situation with the bases loaded. It's another to come into that with Pujols on deck and now Mike Trout in the batter's box. It's been a tough enough night for the Rays so far.
So here's Trout with a run scored and a run batted in tonight. Officially 0 for 1 on a pop to second. And the pitch is in there for a strike. He broke the Rays' heart the other night here Thursday when he hit the walk-off in the bottom of the ninth, giving the Angels a 6-5 victory. One strike to count here in the 6th inning. Fastball up. 1 ball and 1 strike. So the hard stuff up from Lukey.
Well, you remember last night we took a look at his hot zones for Mike Trout, and across the board, across the strike zone, anything elevated, he's not been able to do anything with. So that is the game plan for Lukey in the first couple of pitches.
Two balls and a strike. Two balls and a strike. Lukey misses again. And it's 3 balls and a strike. There's the hot zone breakout. Not so hot up.
Nope. Nothing across the board. And Lukey found his first fastball in that area. Since then, it's been 3 straight balls. Tough enough to face Mike Trout, bases loaded, 1 out. Tougher still at a 3-1 count where he is in complete command. At the plate, he can be picky here.
(3-1). Fouls it back. Fastball fouled into the upper deck and dropping down below. Angels scored 2 in the first, added 2 in the second, picked up 2 more in the third. They've loaded the bases with 1 out in the 6th. And the full count pitch. He strikes him out. Turned it up to 97 and got the swing and a miss.
How about that? Came right back with 2 heaters. That last one at velocity just overpowering Mike Trout. Location wasn't bad either.
2 gone and another big bat to get. Albert Pujols about to step in. Double in a run in the second. 1 for 3 on the night. And the fastball is in there for strike 1. A 1-strike count. Tapper foul outside at third. So he's out in front, 2 strikes. The runners belong to Oviedo on the walk, single, and walk to load him. The 2-strike pitch. Ground ball to short. Force at second. Escobar to Rodriguez. Angels leave them loaded. We go to the 7th. Rays down 6-0.
Final edition of Late Night with the Rays. Until the next time we're on the West Coast, we asked some players about their favorite late night snacks, also how they unwind after a ball game. Here's Chris Archer and what he does after a night game.
Watch documentaries, read a little bit. There's a new show on National Geographic maybe called Cosmos that I can catch late night. Pretty interesting stuff.
What's that deal with?
The universe, science, different things that we've discovered over the last 1,000 years.
Always looking to expand their horizons, guys. Back to you.
And the Rays would like to expand their run output right now, down 6-0 as we go to the 7th. Evan Longoria is going to lead off against C.J. Wilson. Wilson through 6 has given up a walk and 3 hits. And the first pitch is a strike here in the 7th. One ball, 1 strike to Evan. Sean Rodriguez next, and then Yunel Escobar. Blue Jays batting in the 9th inning in Arlington, Texas, leading the Rangers 3-2. The Orioles have lost. The Yankees have won, so they're tied, those two teams, for first. Red Sox lost, and the Rays trail 6-0 here. Evan fouls one out of play. And it's 2-2. Lifted up the right side. That's going to be out of play. Well, here we are in the 7th inning and not unfamiliar territory for C.J. Wilson. Wilson pitched 6 innings his last time out. 2 starts prior to that, 8 innings each. 6 innings the time before that. A 2-2 count on Longoria. We're on the count full.
Well, he's going to give you innings. We saw that breakout over 200 the last 4 seasons. And the majority of them are quality innings. That's what you want to be doing in a full count, then, Longoria. Worried about a balloon. It's LA, baby.
Yeah,
Orange
that's
County.
right. That's right.
It's either the balloon or the occasional beach ball that finds its way onto the field.
Another thing about Wilson, he made just 75 pitches through the first 6 innings. A little battle going on here with Evan Longoria, who fouls another 3-2 pitch out of play.
Well, suffice to say, Dwayne, he's been in complete control of this game.
And a base hit shot the other way, and the Rays put the leadoff hitter on in the 7th inning. Evan picks up his first hit of the night. For the Rays, their 4th hit.
Takes advantage of Howie Kendrick shading him up the middle. 2-strike approach by Evan Longoria. We see him do that more and more. If they're going to continue to work him down and away, this ball's kind of almost inside out with that swing. See him pulling the hands through there, and that bat head taking advantage of that open hole.
So that snaps a streak of 12 in a row retired by Wilson. Here's Sean Rodriguez. Sean fouls it back. Going to time up the fastball. A base hit for Sean in the 2nd inning. A hard hit line drive into left. One and one. Two balls and a strike. Rays came into this game 3-2 on the road trip. Fell behind early. It's been 6-0 since the 3rd. We're in the 7th. Two and two. be wrapping it up tomorrow afternoon. There's Escobar on deck. Pujols and Longoria talking it over at first. 2-2 to Sean. It's out of play. Saw a shot of Escobar on deck. He's been moved up in the order tonight. So far, things haven't worked out the way he had hoped. He's been red hot at the plate and has good numbers against C.J. Wilson. But tonight, 2 strikeouts and 2 at-bats for Escobar against Wilson. Foul ball straight back into the screen.
Well, who knows? Sean Rodriguez putting together a nice at bat here. Maybe he can work his way on. You know, Escobar come up and try to give these Angels a little bit of a finish here. 7th inning, nobody out.
Well, a couple of back-to-back extended counts here by Longoria and now Rodriguez. This is the 15th pitch of the inning, and it's fouled again out of play. So here in the 7th to open this frame, the Rays hitters making Wilson work. Sean Rodriguez out on strikes.
Have not seen many of those. That's the slider down and in to Sean. And C.J. Wilson right here. Oh, look at that late break, and he's been.
And tonight's pitching performance presented by Volkswagen so far tonight. C.J. Wilson 1 out into the 7th inning, with 5 strikeouts and just 1 walk. No runs on 4 hits. Yunel Escobar takes this one as it sweeps down and in. Curveball. 1 ball, no strikes.
And when the Rays have seen C.J. Wilson as a starter, they've typically seen more walks. 6 of his 8 starts against the Rays, he's walked at least 3 hitters. But you stay away from that. You don't hurt yourself and force a team to have to put together a string of hits to score off of you, and it makes it difficult, especially when you feature stuff that's been as good as it is tonight for Wilson.
There's a base hit through the hole on the left side. Longoria stops at second, so Escobar picks up a single.
Well, the Rays just station to station baseball until they try to draw close. Escobar got that pitch out over the plate and hammered it. There's that string of success off Wilson.
And now Logan Forsythe, the designated hitter, 0 for 2 on the evening. Pitch down, 1 ball, no strikes. Couple of hits here in the 7th, 2 on with 1 out. Loney will be next. A long look by Wilson this time. Up in the mid-90s now in pitch count, and a step back. Wilson's high pitch count this year is 125. That was 2 starts ago against the Yankees. And a no decision. Two and 0. That puts him at 95 pitches. It's been a 20-pitch inning here in the 7th with 1 out.
Yeah, and the Rays have a chance to make this interesting here. A couple runners aboard, a 2-0 count to Forsythe. That's why you see Ionette out there already trying to make sure that this game doesn't spiral out of control on C.J. Wilson. We saw how quickly it happened to the Rays. Who's to say the Rays couldn't do it here at the end of the game?
So after the conference on the Hill, two and 0 the count on Forsythe. That's in there for a strike.
Didn't have to be.
Take another look at that pitch. Take the count to 2-2. Wilson here later in the game with some base runners now, really slowing his pace down.
It would be a Rays game if the pace didn't go awry late.
They didn't even have to go to the bullpen for that to happen. Rays have fouled off 10 pitches here in the 7th inning. Work up the pitch count, and there's ball 3. Wilson looking for that call, never came, and the count is full. And the pitch stayed away, just off the plate. That will load the bases. So a walk. Forsythe heads to first. Longoria moves to third. Escobar to second. Forsythe takes over at first, and that's Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, headed to the mound. So they'll talk it over, and as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag #SunSportsFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. So James Loney's due up. Mike Butcher has his say. Action in the bullpen for the Angels. And right-hander Joe Smith up.
Well, here you go. This is where the Rays finally have their first opportunity, real opportunity, to make a dent in this score. And James Loney, bases loaded. Good with the bases loaded. Good 7th inning or later. Good with runners in scoring position.
Loney 0 for 2 tonight. Came into this game 6th in the league at hitting, and a ground ball. Kendrick, Ibar 1, Pujols 2, 4-6-3 on the double play. So the Rays load the bases, and on the 25th pitch of the inning, Wilson throws his 3rd double play ball of the night. It's 6-0 Los Angeles.
Angels lead the Rays 6-0. Time now for more Late Night with the Rays. We caught up with Joe Madden, the skipper, before the game and asked him what is his favorite late night snack.
Believe it or not, I love puffed rice. Really? Puffed rice is among my favorites. Honey Nut Cheerios, some Kashi brand of cereal, but it has to be with coconut milk. Coconut milk, first of all, I can't drink regular milk. Second of all, coconut milk is much healthier. It has medium-chain fatty acids that your body burns up for energy immediately or almost immediately, whereas long-chain fatty acids of regular milk causes and sits there as fat. So cereal, occasional dark chocolate, occasional piece of dark chocolate.
So his favorite snack food and a health lesson all in one, guys.
Yeah, the Rays could use a few more runs tonight. Joe Madden in the Rays dugout here with Ron Porterfield.
Yeah, you don't like those two conversing during the course of a ball game.
You're right. You're concerned about that. Wondering what's going on in the health department with the Rays. Anytime you see that conversation get too extended.
Maybe, you know what, he could be talking to him about making sure that his facts were straight on the long-chain fatty acids, the coconut milk, regular milk deal. Port, was I right on that?
Well, I think you are right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we go to the bottom of the seventh. Howie Kendrick will lead off. Sit on the ground to short. Picked by Escobar. The throw to first in time. Kendrick is the first out. Rays have been out hit 8-5. They had the bases loaded in one pitch. Put an end to that threat. The double play ball. C.J. Cron. Josh Lukey, the fourth Rays pitcher. He got the last two outs in the sixth, retiring Trout and Pujols. 1 ball, no strikes. This has been one of those games where the Rays saw the Angels jump out with a couple runs in the first. They added on in the second and third. And the Rays have just not been able to really get back into this game.
No, opportunities limited by C.J. Wilson. Then they finally get their best opportunity in the last half inning, only to see their best clutch late inning producer hit into a double play. It has been a rough night all around. And even the double play, you can't challenge the neighborhood play at second base. Mm-hmm. But if you could, Eric Ibar was nowhere near second base. Yeah.
Yep. So it's been a frustrating night in all of those areas. Pulling off the pitch, breaking ball, and dipped, and the count is 2-2.
Two good ones in a row. And this at bat here by Lukey, 77, both of them 77 miles an hour, pretty good depth on that pitch.
Popped up, foul. Toward the screen, but it's out of play. Eric Ibar will be next. C.J. Cron was a first-round pick by the Angels in the 2011 draft. Fly ball, towering fly ball to right. Myers, with time to get over there, makes the catch. 2 gone. So the bases are empty with 2 outs, and here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live. The pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. David Price will be on the mound for the Rays, and we'll hear from David Price. Todd Callis along with the news of the day on tomorrow's edition of Rays Live. It'll be the wrap-up game of this road trip. Guybar. No ball, no strikes. Puff Rice, perhaps.
Late night with the Rays, late night snacks.
Yep.
Got to sustain energy levels. Putting them away pretty quickly.
1-0 the count to Ibar. And he's popping it up on the left side with Escobar ranging into shallow left to make the catch. So it's a 1-2-3-7 as late night with the Rays continues. On to the 8th we go. 6-0 Angels. California, the venue Angel Stadium, and it's late night with the Rays. On to the 8th inning we go. Getting very late. C.J. Wilson has shut out the Rays on just 5 hits.
Well, outside of that blip in the top of the 7th inning, he's been very sharp with everything. You see climbing the ladder, good breaking balls, getting a couple double plays, turn one started by himself. You can see he's just kept this Rays offense off balance all night and helps being staked to an early lead.
Jose Molina takes the first pitch, and that's a ball. Molina walked back in the 3rd. A high foul down the right side, caught by Cowgill in the 5th. Two and 0. Strike. Well, the Orioles lost, the Yankees won, so they're tied atop the American League East. Records of 22 and 19. Blue Jays have won 23 and 21. Red Sox lost, now 20 and 22, and the Rays starting the day at 19 and 24, down 6-0 in the 8th inning in Anaheim. And Molina strikes out to start the 8th. Strikeout number 6 for C.J. Wilson.
He comes right back and gets him. Frustrated with himself after falling behind Molina 2-0. Short work of him from there.
There's Kevin Kiermaier, who had a base hit in the 6th inning, his first big league hit. Cut and a miss on the fastball for a strike. That fastball net at 94. 106 pitches tonight for Wilson. Fires another one in there. 2 strikes. Kiermaier playing center field, joining the club from Durham. With Desmond Jennings on the bereavement list. Anticipate his return on Tuesday. Kiermaier is out on strikes. A defensive swing on that pitch.
Yeah, and an awkward swing. Couple of nice at-bats by Kiermaier tonight. That one, breaking ball, it stays in on him. You see just kind of an emergency at the very end. Hack. He has been one of the bright spots in this game.
He has been indeed.
Yeah. Hit the ball hard in his first at bat. Nice play by Pujols down at first base would lead to a force out at second. Gets his first major league hit in his next at bat, and then the defense that we've seen, the good arm, the release.
Yeah, we saw that the first time around in the Cincinnati series, and even more impressive here tonight with his work in the outfield.
You know, you go back to that one ball that he got off the wall, the double high off the wall by Iannetta. He got that ball, was spinning, and he wasn't even able to step into the throw. He was spinning away, you know, from second base and still threw a
1-2, tap to third. Jimenez makes the throw to first, and the Rays are down 1-2-3 in the 8th. It's 6-0 Angels. Angel Stadium in Anaheim, where the Rays and the Angels move into the bottom of the 8th inning. Coming up on Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers. Rich and Orestes will anchor the coverage. And we'll hear from Alex Cobb on the backside of his rehab start. And it appears to be quite encouraging. We'll hear from Joe Maddon's press conference. Todd Callis with interviews from the clubhouse. Right now, the Rays down by half a dozen. Brad Boxberger will come on. This is pitcher number 5 for the Rays tonight.
Boxberger on for the 10th time. He's got 14 strikeouts in 10 2/3 innings. It's those numbers that Joe Maddon had in mind when he brought Brad into that game a couple of nights ago. The bases loaded and Trout at the plate. There were actually 2 runners on. He came into that bases loaded game earlier this season, struck out the side on 9 pitches. That's what Joe Maddon had envisioned.
It's Chris Iannetta, the catcher. First pitch is inside. Iannetta, Green, and Jimenez due up.
I think Brad would be the first to tell you that he'd like to have that at bat back just because of the pitch selection. 3 straight changeups. And we all saw how well Trout saw the 3rd changeup. Wasn't located particularly well. Those are tough lessons to learn.
The foul ball straight back. Out of play, and the count is 2-1. The outside part of the plate for a strike. Ramos started tonight, worked an inning and a third, was charged with 4 runs. Brandon Gomes gave up 2 runs in 2 2/3. Oviedo worked an inning and a third. Lukey an inning and 2/3. And there's ball 3 to Iannetta. Boxberger here, full count on the Angels catcher. Base hit to the right of Escobar, and Iannetta has his 2nd hit of the ball game. Give 2 for 4.
Watch Iannetta stay right on this off-speed pitch. This changeup right on it. Was not fooled at all. Look at that swing. Everything on time.
Grant Green. A ball, no strikes. Green connected for the home run in the 3rd inning. That came off Gomes. His first home run of the year. One and one. Boxberger picks up the outside edge. It's now 1-2. The Rays bullpen last night covered 3 1/3, and to cover more than that tonight. There's a reach by Green, and he's out on strikes. Gone in the 8th.
Boxberger goes down and away with the heater, and Green reaching for what certainly looked like a ball there. Yeah, you go back to that Seattle series in the Rays bullpen because of the work that Ramos did in the tough game, and David Price and what he did. complete game. He was not used. In fact, there were 3 relievers who didn't even get in that series. Really were well rested once they got into Anaheim, but the last couple of nights, last night not so bad, tonight a lot of heavy pitch counts out of that bullpen.
The first pitch is a strike to Luis Jimenez. He's been on base twice, was hit by a pitch on a pitch by Cesar Ramos that bounced in and hit him. He scored a run in the 2-run second. And almost hit again. That pitch close. Dropped the bat, got out of the way. 1-1.
Tight.
Now the 1-1. It dropped a little bit low. 2 balls and a strike. Runner at first with 1 away. And the pitch is inside, 3-1. Late night with the Rays here in Anaheim. Bottom of the 8th inning. Top of the order, Colin Cowgill is on deck. And a step back by Jimenez. It's fouled out of play. So the count is full now.
How about the play right there by Jose Mota?
And did he bring a glove?
Yes, he did.
He brought a glove, and Jose Mota right next door made the catch. Yeah. Now that is being prepared.
Wow.
Very impressed.
Well, you've got to have that at the ready.
Runner takes off. The pitch is fouled out of play. Yeah, very impressive in the Spanish booth. And let's take another look at that. Deserves a shot. Yeah, no problem. Good glove work indeed. Hit by that pitch. So with 2 men on and 1 out here late night with the Rays, we did promise Chico Fernandez and the mechanical bull, and here is the Rays video coordinator and acquitting himself quite well on that mechanical bull.
I see you.
Stayed right with it.
And they can get those things going pretty aggressively, too.
Yes, they can.
And they'll get that bull to...
Down goes Chico. But he did get the 8 seconds plus. Here's Cowgill. First pitch to him is a strike. That was impressive by Chico Fernandez.
That bull seemed to be a little tired.
1-1.
Long night for everybody.
Strike on the outside corner. 1-2. We're in the bottom of the 8th. That was worth sticking around for.
Something.
Chico Fernandez and the mechanical bull. Two and two. But that's doing it up in style. Two balls, two strikes. Ground ball short. Escobar Rodriguez, that's one. Loney, that's two. 6-4, 3 and out on the double play. We're through 8, 6-0 Angels. Welcome you back to Late Night with the Rays here from Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. Hope you've enjoyed the proceedings here over the last few nights. The Rays have spent this trip on the West Coast. We have a day game tomorrow, so no late night tomorrow. It just wouldn't be right to try to push late night during the daylight hours. And we go to the ninth inning. We appreciate you staying up late with us and keeping us company here on the swing to the West Coast. See 113 pitches for C.J. Wilson, 8 innings, 5-hit baseball. And he does not have a complete game this year. In fact, his lone big league shutout came on September 6th of 2011 as a member of the Texas Rangers when he shut out the Rays 8-0, made 117 pitches.
Guess who also pitched in that game?
Cesar Ramos pitched in relief of Jeff Neiman that day. So the first couple pitches here in the ninth inning, a ball and a strike to count to Will Myers. Pitch skied straight away center. Trout back, not yet to the track, and he makes the catch for the out. So Will Myers hit it a long way, but to straight away center. And that's the first out. No complete games last year or the year before for C.J. Wilson. In fact, in those 2 seasons, this is his 3rd year with the Angels. He does not have a complete game in an Angels uniform. He had 3 for Texas in 2011. Well, he's 2 outs away from 1 tonight. And the first pitch to Evan Longoria is a high fastball. 1 ball and no strikes. 2 balls, no strikes. Wilson with 118 pitches. He made 116 in his last start and 125 in the start before that. That is his high pitch count of the year, as he falls behind Longoria 3-0. And Sean Rodriguez is on deck. Evan takes a strike. The high pop fly, shallow left. Green coming in and out from shortstop. Ibar, he traveled a long way and made that catch in short left center.
Yeah, I mean, that is outfielder territory right there. Ibar can do it because he's such a gifted athlete. Get out that deep, and that ball was hit high, but boy, you'd really like Grant Green to be making this play, not Ibar. Look how far he's got to travel. Make it difficult over the shoulder catch. Yeah, and he's looking at him like, where were you?
So 2 outs in the 9th. Here's Sean Rodriguez. The pitch is high. 1 ball, no strikes. Big cut and a miss by Sean. Two balls and a strike. 2 outs, bases empty. Rodriguez takes ball 3 too low. Escobar is on deck. Will he get a chance to hit tonight again? C.J. Wilson trying to go the distance. And that takes the count to 3-2. 2 outs here in the 9th. This is his high pitch count of the year, 126.
Yeah, and he hasn't really lost anything.
Ground ball to second. Kendricks throw to first. A 5-hit shutout, 127 pitches by C.J. Wilson. And the Angels have beaten the Rays tonight 6-0. Second career shutout for C.J. Wilson, both at the expense of the Rays.